Good day, everyone. Today, our topic is dictionary characteristic functionality and usability, an analysis of two minority language dictionaries of Gabon. So, on this research, we have as co-author Professor Paul Achille Mavungu, Dr. Steve Ndinga Koumba Binza, and Dr. Blanche Assam. The focus of this paper on dictionaries that have been produced in the Gabonese minority languages in the course of Gabon's modern era of dictionary production. The Guevilla français by Van der Veen and Bodinga Bois Badinga in 2002, and the Lexique Pauvé français Pauvé by Mikala Mafumbi in 2004. So to date, these are the only two dictionaries produced in Gabonese minority languages. In addition, both languages are cognate languages within the Togo Kande language group of Bantu languages. Both languages are these rare languages of Gabon, which did not draw missionaries' attention. Hence, each dictionary is the first of each language. The dictionaries are the two first dictionaries of modern era of Gabonese lexicography concerning this specific minority language. How will we define a minority language? Within a population of less than 2 million inhabitants, every language in Gabon is actually a minority language based on the worldwide recognized standards. Only very few languages, for instance, Fampunu Zembi, Tekenvili, are cross-border languages, but they are still minority, having less than a million speakers in all countries. However, a minority language in the local context of Gabon is a language used within a single town and in less than 5 villages in the country. So the latter definition will be our understanding throughout this paper. Our research question and framework is as follows. The research question of this study can be outlined as: how do dictionary characteristics and quality determine dictionary functionality and ability? The two dictionaries in these studies have previously been the subject of successive previous review studies, but little attention was paid to the dictionary usability and functionality. The use assessment of these dictionaries comes within the user perspective framework. For instance, the trend in modern lexicography, which places the dictionary user as the central figure of dictionary compilation. In the scope, we have 4 questions which constitute the scope of the present paper. The first one: what are the major features linked to user identification and targeting? The second question: what are the prospects that may deem a dictionary as acceptable in the linguistic community? Third question: do dictionary features allow it to respond to specific needs in the linguistic community? And last question: for which purpose and in which context can this dictionary be used? In this first section, we deal with an examination of the features of each dictionary. We intend to highlight the major characteristics that the user approach will require from a well-planned dictionary. The examination mainly focuses on both macro and microstructural features. The methodology used for this evaluation is that of dictionary review outlined by Reynolds and Roos as in 2015 and 2016. looking at the feature of the dictionary. Both dictionaries are voluminous, 761 pages for the Prové dictionary and 569 pages for the Cuvier dictionary, including the pretext. The authors are untrained lexicographers but professional linguists. Both dictionaries are bilingual. The Prové dictionary is a bidirectional, and the Cuvier one is monodirectional, a normal modern nomenclatural organization example containing pretext, microstructure, and posttext. So as we look at the macro and microstructural features, we find an alphabetic ordering. The Prové dictionary has 4 columns, 1 page dictionary page, and the Cuvier has 2, as you can see on the picture, has 2. While the Cuvier dictionary has a dictionary has article that contains macrostructural treatment, the Prové dictionary has its macrostructural treatment in column 4 in the Prové dictionary direction and in column 1 in the Prové French dictionary. In the French Prové dictionary. Still on the macro and microstructural features, for the Prové French direction, column 1, we have lemmas in nominal stem forms. Column 2, Bantu class numbers. Column 3, phonological word of the lemma. Column 4, French equivalent of the word, meaning the nominal prefix plus nominal stem. For the French Prové direction, column 1, lemmas in French. Column 2, equivalent in nominal stem form. Column 3, Bantu class numbers. Column 4, equivalent in phonological word. Here also nominal prefix plus nominal stem. Alphabet orthography and writing system. A phonological alphabet, so we have a list of phonemes, sign of the international alphabetical order, high tone indication on lexical items, and fully disjunctive writing system. These are the characteristics. So the question one tends to, is it a dictionary or a word list? In general, the Cuvier dictionary has the characteristics of a modern printed dictionary. The Prové dictionary, although entitled as word list, does not comply with whatever definition can be made of the concept of word list. It is rather a dictionary in its format and content. Both works are reference work like any other dictionary, but they contain also features of an encyclopedic dictionary, for instance, an abundance of extra-linguistic items. And the target users, in this second section, we proceed with an observation of the potential target user of each dictionary. In both dictionaries, target users are not explicitly indicated in the pretext.
Okay, greetings, colleagues. I have to take over from here. That's my turn now. As Dr. Blanche just introduced, this section is about target users. First of all, we have to understand the speakers of these endangered languages. For the Prové language, we have about 1,000 to 4,000 Prové speakers, according to IDIATA. And then 75% of children whose both parents are Pove speakers, declare to understand the language, but no indication whether they do speak it. And knowing that nearly 100% of Gabonese youth, those that are under 25, declare to have French as a mother tongue and are unable to speak their parents' language. And these are actually data from Abikamboku 2012. Now, also 100% of children who has only as mother who have mother tongue speakers of Pove declare to know the language from Idiata's 2009 work. Now, these kind of data are completely unknown for the Revia speakers. So with, actually, when the compiler of a Revia dictionary couldn't even mention how many speakers or what are the characteristics of the target users, or of the what were supposed to be the target users. Now, these actually both the Pove speakers and the Revia speakers, they are actually speakers of what we call unknown, unwritten language. Actually, both Revia and the Pove are not written languages. Number one, because they didn't receive any interest from missionaries and colonial administrators. As in most African countries, missionaries and colonial administrators were the very first scholars in terms of describing our languages, in terms of creating language tools for these languages, like dictionaries, syllabi, and so on. But unfortunately for Revia and Pove, the missionaries and the colonial administrator didn't get any interest on these languages. So then the very first orthography proposal for both Pove and Revia was made by Van der Veen in 1990, but these were not promoted and not recognized by any official organization at national level. And then there were other proposals from Idiata in 2002 and Bungeza in 2008, but still those proposals are still not officially recognized. And then the current dictionary, the current Pove dictionary, and actually not only the Pove dictionary, but the Revia as well, both dictionaries actually could also be seen as proposals for writing, for creating a writing system of these languages. Now, then one thing that should also be known, like these languages are not taught at school, just like most of the majority of Gabonese languages. And then these languages are also spoken in rural areas, and for the Pove language, it's actually spoken in 4 villages in 2 provinces of Gabon. And then for the Revia language, I mean, as I said earlier, that we haven't got data on that dictionary, but what is known generally by the people that are close to the speakers of this language, like they might be somewhere in the middle of the country in a landlocked village, and actually they share that village with the Togo people. Like now I'm talking about the Revia speakers. Now, what are the failures of this proposal in terms of, the proposal to write this language? Number one, they're all made by linguist experts. And number two, there is no involvement of the linguistic community. So it's like creating a writing system for a language, and they don't involve the people that are going to use that writing system. And then number three, no promotional activities at both official and national levels. Like the proposal were made, but the proposal are sitting in books written by linguists in libraries and so on, but when there is no promotion, there is no campaign of promoting those orthographies, alphabet, and so on that were made by linguistics experts. And in this now the third section, trying to look at user friendliness and functionality and usability of these 2 dictionaries. So we're going to discuss here some of these, the user-friendliness of these dictionaries and then the functionality and usability through the general features that we saw earlier. Now, the main aim of the discussion here is to determine the functionality of these dictionaries and their usability. Thus, the methodology adopted for this assessment is the evaluation approach of functional quality of dictionaries as outlined by Swanepoel in 2001 and 2008. So we conclude by highlighting some usability prospects for the studied dictionaries. Now, the main question here is whether the potential users will be able to use any of these dictionaries. So we are going to look at each dictionary separately. I must mention once again that actually these two languages are cognate languages, like they understand each other. Like someone speaking Revia is able to understand someone speaking Pove and so on. Now, what we found in these dictionaries that we call as user-friendliness failures, meaning that actually the users, which are not linguists, may not be interested in reading those languages. Number one, because of the rebarbative signs of a phonological alphabet. So you can see the vowels here, how they are presented in both dictionaries. The vowels are presented as with their phonetic and phonological aspect. Look at this, for instance, the third vowel, which is a in all of these two languages, and the last vowel, which is o. So any reader which is not acquainted with phonetics and phonology may not know that these two vowels, A and O, are actually represented this way. And then we have semi-vowels, we have the consonant as well. Look at the third consonant from the last. The third consonant from the last of a line. We have the consonant G, K, and the third one, this one is near. And then you can see here that someone has to be acquainted with phonetics and phonology in terms of consonant to understand that this sign actually represents the sound near. And then there is high tone indication in all, if you look at the orthography, and here, for instance, we have the word, which is this is a Pove word, which means that a ball meal, and you can see these two signs on top of the vowels are actually the indication of high tone. And once again, one has to be acquainted with linguistics and tonology to be able to understand that these sounds that look like a French accent are actually tone indication, and this and partly these are high tones. Now, I'm still in the Pove dictionary. It will show like some kind of unfriendly access structure. I mean, these columns, various columns, 3 of them. Dr. Blanc showed the image earlier. So we believe that this kind of unfriendly access structure. And then there is also unfamiliar meta entries like this one that we see here. We still don't understand why this hyphen in between, and this is a lemma which is presented in the dictionary, and that's in the case of a Pove, in the Pove dictionary. Now, should there be any user for these dictionaries? I mean, looking at these features as we saw right from the start of the paper, and these later ones that you've just seen. So from the content of these dictionaries, including macro and microstructural components, there could be only one type of target users for these dictionaries. Number one, there must be educated speakers of a language. Okay, so people that are educated and they are speakers of a language. And most precisely, they must have considerable knowledge of linguistics, just like as I was saying earlier, that any reader of this dictionary should be acquainted with linguistics, phonetics, and phonology to be able to read the orthography and alphabet used in these dictionaries, or the writing system as well. Now, these dictionaries can be used for language conservation, but not necessarily for language teaching and learning. Now, I'm going towards the conclusion now. So it is clear from this study analysis that during the compilation process of these two dictionaries, target users were not thoroughly predetermined apart from the existing and non-existing indications in the pretext of the dictionaries. Like when we read the pretext of the dictionaries, there is not even a reference to the target users, like to the target users, which means that they were compiled without having target users in mind. This is the work of linguists and not the work of lexicographers, where we know that the lexicographer will have the target users in mind. Now, it is also our belief that proposals on revising existing Gabonese dictionaries should focus on works of both the early era and the modern era of Gabonese dictionary production. It is also a fact that the production of some dictionaries of a modern era still takes place without a general theoretical framework. So what we're saying here, that in this period where we have more lexicographers that are trained lexicographers, experts of metalexicography, there are still many dictionaries that are being compiled outside the theoretical framework, outside the metalexicographic research. Now, such dictionaries are subject to several metalexicographical shortcomings, just as we have seen in these two papers. Now, this paper, to conclude, and contributes to the strategic planning of Gabonese lexicography, which considers as one of its important phases the metalexicographic assessment of major non-theoretically compiled Gabonese dictionaries. The main objective is actually to improve those dictionaries. But at the end of our paper, thank you very much. And we're looking forward to the questions. Thank you, and bye-bye.